know anything about the facts of this case, so I'm not able to do the math to apply it to
And
facts
by
I don't
failing to
know.
pay the taxes on those ill-gotten gains, what would the typical penalty have been, for example, if it was someone who didn't have the last name of Biden or a D behind?
In this charged atmosphere, tension crackles as Miss Harriet Hageman, representing the investigation, confronts General Merrick Garland with probing questions. The room pulses with anticipation as allegations of misconduct within the Biden administration are laid bare. As the exchange unfolds, the atmosphere is thick with the gravity of the accusations and the scrutiny of those in power. Miss Harriet brings forth whistleblowers' testimonies from the IRS, alleging a deliberate strategy to impede the criminal investigation into Hunter Biden, as well as underscoring the pivotal decision by U.S. Attorney David Weiss in November 2022. Garland's response of not knowing the specifics underscores the necessity for comprehensive understanding before drawing conclusions, an essential reminder amidst the charged atmosphere of the hearing.
Very serious charges made about your department and other elements of the Biden administration, which allege ignoring the law to protect political allies from being held accountable for their wrongdoing. One aspect of this allegation, brought by two very credible whistleblowers from the IRS, demonstrates a strategy of delaying criminal investigation into Hunter Biden and blocking any investigations into the corruption of Joe Biden. The whistleblower testimony notes that U.S. Attorney David Weiss in November 2022 allowed the statute of limitations to expire, even though Hunter Biden's attorney had already agreed to extend the statute on the 2014 and 2015 charges, which charges included an attempt to evade or defeat taxes and the fraud and false statements related to the $1 million that Burisma paid to Hunter Biden while his father was vice president. During a recent transcribed interview with the committee, FBI officials from the Baltimore field office refused to answer questions about the expired 2014 and 2015 tax charges because they were allegedly part of a, quote, ongoing investigation. Are the tax charges related to these years, in fact, part of an ongoing investigation?
Again, I have no familiarity with the details of this particular investigation.
So you don't know one way or the other?
That's right. I left it up to Mr.
So how are
Weiss.
charges for which the statute of limitations have already expired part of an ongoing investigation?
Again, I don't know anything about this case.
So why would charges that have already expired because of the statute of limitations be part of an ongoing investigation?
To answer in the hypothetical, because I don't know the facts, often charges from previous times are used as part of an ongoing investigation to inform information about intent, about patterns.
In a rare moment of candor, Garland inadvertently references a tax investigation spanning beyond the years 2014 and 2015. When questioned by Ms. Hageman about the expiration of the statute of limitations on serious crimes, Garland clarifies that such decisions lack a standard procedure and are entrusted to the discretion of the IRS, an unintentional slip of the tongue from the attorney. Referencing insights from an IRS whistleblower, Hageman challenges the credibility of an investigation that permits the statute of limitations to lapse. In defense, Garland highlights the appointed prosecutor's extensive experience as a career prosecutor chosen by President Trump. Further probing Hunter Biden's tax liabilities concerning $1 million from Burisma, Hageman estimates the potential tax amount at around $400,000. But Garland, constrained by the absence of case particulars, refrains from confirmation.
Investigations? So are there other investigations into Hunter Biden where this information may become relevant?
I think it's a matter of public record that there is a tax investigation of Mr. Hunter Biden with respect to other years. I don't
Beyond the
think
2014 and 2015?
Beyond the ones that are that you were referring to, I think
Mr. Garland,
Mr. Weiss has already said that during the plea proceeding.
Okay, Mr. Garland, is it standard operating procedure in your Department of Justice for prosecutors to allow the statute of limitations to expire on very serious crimes when the potential defendant has already agreed to an extension?
So there, as I said before, there's no standard operating procedure here.
Maybe there should be. If this is an oversight hearing, maybe there's stress. You've answered my question. Thank you. According to one of the IRS whistleblowers, quote, the purposeful exclusion of the 2014 and 2015 tax years sanitized the most substantive criminal conduct and concealed material facts, end quote. How can Americans trust an investigation run by a special counsel who, by allowing the statute of limitations to expire, irreversibly, quote, sanitized the most substantive criminal conduct and concealed material facts?
Prosecutor in question is an experienced veteran career prosecutor who was appointed by
And we have no reason to trust him, do we?
by President Trump.
Okay. How much in terms of taxes would Hunter Biden have owed on the $1 million he was paid by Burisma?
Well, as you can imagine, since I don't know anything about the facts of the case, I can't answer
Probably
that
about
question.
$400,000. Isn't that right? I mean, you can do the math. You know the tax code.
I don't know anything about the facts of this case, so I'm not able to do the math to apply it.
The taxes on those ill-gotten gains, what would the typical penalty have been, for example, if it was someone who didn't have the last name of Biden or a D behind their name?
I'm sorry. These are all questions you'll have to direct to Mr. Weiss, and that Mr. Weiss will address in his final...
By allowing the statute of limitations to lapse, did Mr. Weiss effectively gift the tax money Hunter Biden owed for the 2014 and 2015 tax years to Mr. Biden?
To say again, the decisions about whether in this area and whether these allegations are correct are ones that Mr. Weiss will be able to answer.
One of the things you have done over and repeated over and over and over again is that to point out that Mr. Weiss was appointed as U.S. Attorney by President Trump, as though that somehow inoculates him from criticism by us. Is that really how this game is played? That if someone is appointed by a Republican, then they're supposed to be on the Republican team? Or if they're appointed by a Democrat, they're on the Democrat team? You were appointed by Mr. Biden, weren't you? Are you on the Democrat team?
Let me just be clear. The point of that he was appointed by a Republican counteracts the claim that this was a partisan decision to benefit Democrats.
He remained as a member of the department.
Miss Harriet Hageman interrogates Merrick Garland regarding tax penalties and potential conflicts of interest. She probes into the possibility of disparate treatment in tax matters, suggesting that individuals lacking political affiliations, such as the Bidens, might face different treatment. Garland deflects Hageman's inquiries, indicating that Mr. Weiss would be better positioned to address such concerns. However, undeterred, Hageman persists, insinuating that by permitting the statute of limitations to lapse, Mr. Weiss effectively absolves Hunter Biden of the tax liabilities he owed, bestowing him with a gift of unpaid taxes. In the climax of heated debate, Garland's support for Weiss's autonomy conflicts with Hageman's doubts, leaving lingering uncertainties about accountability and fairness. The discourse highlights the intricate dynamics of political influence within the Department of Justice, prompting reflection on the integrity of ongoing investigations.